There's a website, the Humic Substances Society of America.
You're kidding.
There's a website.
Of course
you can
there
go
is.
and read the research, and it is really fascinating.
Amazing.
About the whole conversation about it, how to test it, what does it mean, how are they actually made?
That's Matt Slaughter. Matt Slaughter is the founder of the Earth Fort Laboratory in Corvallis, Oregon. And he is a phenomenal resource for us here in the Willamette Valley. In my interview with Matt, we cover a big range of topics that I had been really eager to understand further. I had the distinct pleasure of interviewing Matt the other day for our first episode of the Let's Cultivate podcast, which we are really excited about. We are not sure how often and how it's all going to develop, but we are going to bring these interviews to you guys so that you can benefit from all these experts that we would love to bring together and ask all these questions that we've been dying to understand more clearly. Because as we see in this little clip that we're going to share with you today, there's a lot of elements of soil biology and fertility that is still a work in progress here for people who do this as part of their livelihood. Scientists that are studying these different substances are still uncovering and unlocking the different botanical mysteries that we're all wrestling with and trying to understand more deeply. What's your take on biology, food, and how should folks think about that?
So obviously for 20 years I've been helping people make teas or extracts, find foods, and that's part of the reason why Earth Fort was started, was to create find the right kind of food resources that would help build up the biology, and also finding fertility products that were biologically friendly.
Yeah.
Right. In addition to food resources. So
like our BE plus.
Yeah,
right?
BE plus is
shout
like,
out BE plus.
Man, that stuff is that's the kitchen sink
right?
and everything.
It's
right?
perfect.
Going after it, and very nice product. The humic acid is one of the tools that I like, because not because it's directly a food for microbes, but because of what it does to the soil nutrients. It has a chelating factor, and it can help break up those salts that are naturally occurring in the soil, because salts want to bond together. Even if you don't put salt fertilizer in, those nutrients in solution, they want to stick together, because you got positive negative ions. You want to bring them together. The organic compounds of the humic acid help break those up and make them bioavailable.
Yeah. And one of the terms that Matt uses when we're talking about the benefits of humic acids is chelation. How do substances chelate other substances? And chelation is simply a fancy word that means it is a way to bond positive and negatively charged ions in the soil rhizosphere and make them bioavailable to plants. So the binding and unbinding of positively and negatively charged ions is chelation. So when Matt makes mention of the benefit of humic acids as a chelating agent, or when we've talked about amino acids as a really fabulous chelating agent, that's what we're talking about. It's taking the positive cations in the soil rhizosphere, magnesium, potassium, calcium, and helping to bring those together into a more bioavailable form for the plant. Fun fact, on the root hairs of plants, those root hairs are negatively charged. So the positively charged ions can naturally bond there with the root hairs. So this whole dance between the positive and negative ions in the soil, humic acids become a great homogenizer to bring those together or to break them apart.
So the new product is Fortify.
Let's talk about that.
Revive is the humic acid and kelp,
Yep,
and complex carbohydrate. The Fortify, I added some protein-based fertility in the form of fish powder.
Yep.
And then also add sea minerals.
Yep.
So we get all those micronutrients. And that product is killing it in Africa, right? And also in containers. It's a great, because it's such a low application rate, right? And it's very complementary to other fertility things. It just helps it make it more efficient. But it could be, in certain cases, a standalone. In Africa, it's all by itself.
Amazing.
A pound an acre.
And people are just using it in their farming programs there.
Just
mixing it right.
Usually apply it at
basically
planting.
top dressing it into the rows
as they're planting.
Yeah.
You know, and then and it can also be used as a food resource to charge up the compost before you brew a tea.
Yep.
And also brewing tea. And it's like, and that's all the ingredients.
That's where we would put Revive.
If you ever look at the ingredient list over the years, it's fish, kelp, and humic acid.
Yeah.
That's been the main thing. And then there's all the other little things. So I would say that, understand, actually look it up. If you're using one of these things, look it up and see what it actually is. Because I know some people think that the humic acid is a carbohydrate. And it's not true. It is not a carbohydrate. And it's carbon, and it has carbohydrates in it, but it's not classified as a complex sugar.
Interesting. How do we think about humics in terms of their classification?
They're their own thing. So humic, fulvic, oleic, those types of organic acids, because they're so broken down, right, and so advanced. I mean, they're on their way to coal.
Interesting.
Kind of level of carbon, right? So at one time they probably were carbohydrates, plant-based of some sort,
right?
And they get processed over time.
It's just further along that continuum of their breakdown.
Yeah. It's either on the way to coal, oil, or diamonds.
Incredible. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed that video. A big thank you to Matt Slaughter and Earthfort for making time for us for this interview. It was a blast, and we got a ton of information during that interview. We will for sure release that full interview for you guys here shortly, so stay tuned for that. In the description below, there's a nice perk today as well. Earthfort is offering a generous 20% discount. It's the MotherMag20 discount code that you can use for all first-time customers who want to do a soil analysis with Earthfort. So be sure to take advantage of that and get your soil analyzed with Earthfort. We also have in that description below a few other links. One of them will be to our site where we've got our online course that's going to be released soon, so you can sign up for notifications about that. In general, we hope that we continue to bring you guys interesting cultivation information, and until the next time, let's cultivate.